Hello and welcome to Gunners Daily YouTube channel, where I'm covering all the latest Arsenal news and everything that is happening around the club. How are we feeling today? Christmas is now behind us. I hope you all enjoyed these past few days and recharged your batteries, because we are now only 5 days away from the January transfer window. Best time of the year, right? Look, I plan to make a full video about who I think Arsenal should sign this winter, which positions we need to strengthen, which deals are most realistic to happen, etc, etc. I plan to answer all that questions and talk about it all, but not today. Because today, I wanted to talk about the outgoings. Or better said, I wanted to talk about the players who I think could realistically leave Arsenal this January. Some on the permanent basis and some on loan. So I decided to give myself time and go through our entire team to try and find out which players are most likely to leave the club this winter. But before we start, if you haven't already, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Okay, let's get into it. There are 4 players who I picked, who are, in my opinion, the biggest candidates to leave the club this winter. And the first name on the list is Aaron Ramsdale. I know, no surprises there. We have already talked countless times about the situation between Aaron Ramsdale and David Raya, about his lack of game time, his family's outbursts in media, his father targeting and accusing Mikel Arteta for everything. Look, on one side you see David Raya smiling and taking your spot as a new first choice keeper, and on the other side you hear Gareth Southgate publicly admitting that he won't call you for Euro 2024 in Germany if you continue sitting on the bench. So, yeah. It's not been a good season for Aaron Ramsdale. To be more precise, it's been a complete disaster. Imagine if someone told him back in May or June, after he secured the Champions League for the first time with Arsenal under Mikel Arteta, that in a 6 months' time, he will be demoted to second option on the bench, he will potentially drop out of the England squad, and Arsenal would still be first in the Premier League and on top of their UCL group, without him in the starting lineup. Wild period for him. It's amazing and sad, but amazing and shocking to see how quickly things can change in football. And honestly, I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry how everything turned out for him. I think this could have been handled in a lot cleaner and better way than how it played out in the end. With Arteta promising him that although he just bought David Raya, that he still seriously counts on him for the future. And that this is a open competition and open fight for the number 1 spot. Because, let's be real, it's not. Aaron Ramsdale made 9 appearances for Arsenal so far this season, in all competitions, and David Raya made 18 appearances. And what's maybe even more important is that Raya was Arteta's first option for all the major, big and important games so far this season, both in the Premier League and in the Champions League. Ramsdale has a contract with Arsenal till 2026, and to make this situation even weirder and more bizarre, Arsenal offered him last contract extension in June this year. So, yeah, I don't know what happened, but unreal stuff. So basically, 2-3 months after signing the new and improved deal, Arteta basically pushed him to the bench without any real explanation. At least we, the fans, still didn't get any real explanation. We don't know what's been going on inside the club. But all in all, Aaron Ramsdale is one of the players who I believe could ask for a transfer this January. I'm not saying that it will definitely happen, and who knows, maybe Rambo wants to stay until the end of the season, but I highly doubt that. And if Ramsey wants to go to Euro 2024, he definitely needs to find himself a new club ASAP. I mean, if he wants to play football in general, he needs to move away. It is what it is. Staying here for the next 6 months will only prolong the agony, and therefore I think it would be best for both sides if they could shake their hands and part their ways peacefully this January. Okay, second name on my list is Cedric Soares. I know, this was predictable. But hey, we must put Cedric on this list. His contract with Arsenal expires at the end of this season, and even with all the injuries we had this season, Cedric only made 1 appearance. And that was away against PSV Eindhoven in the Champions League, a game that meant absolutely nothing. And he was good in that game, fair play, but yeah. So we can comfortably say that Arteta doesn't really count on him anymore. Villarreal is reportedly interested in signing him this winter, and I don't think Arsenal could take any fee out of it. I think if someone comes knocking on their door this January, they would let him go for free on a 6 months loan till the end of his contract, just so they could save some money on his salary. Because if I'm not wrong, he's currently earning around £75,000 per week at Arsenal. So yeah. What else to say? Cedric is 32 years old. He joined Arsenal from Southampton in 2020, and he collected 62 appearances for Arsenal, scoring 2 goals and providing 5 assists. Nothing against Cedric. He had some decent performances when he came, but I think he definitely extended his stay too much. And now it's finally time to part ways. Okay, third name on my list is Eddie Nketiah. But wait, I'm now going to explain to you why exactly do I think that Eddie Nketiah could potentially leave Arsenal this January. Okay, I don't think Nketiah should leave Arsenal this January because I still think he's a quality player and I'm more safe knowing that he is here and available and ready to jump in for us. I talked about this in my Is This the End for Eddie Nketiah video. Have any of you ever seen Eddie Nketiah's injury history? From his day before Arsenal, back in 2017, under Arsene Wenger, until today, Eddie Nketiah has been out injured for a total of 42 days, or to be more precise, he has missed a total of 9 games. 9 games in 6 years. I was shocked when I saw that. And that is obviously one of the reasons why you wouldn't want to sell him if you don't really have to. But look, the title of this video is Players Who Could Leave Arsenal this January. So let's move into different direction. And let me explain why I think Eddie Nketiah could possibly really decide to leave Arsenal this January. Eddie is now, 24 years old, and he's been here for 6 years? And I think it is clear to everyone, as much as we love and support him because he came from KLN and he's one of ours, but realistically, he will never be the first option in Arsenal's attack. He turned 25 years old in May this season, and he is now slowly entering into his prime. He's not that kid anymore that he was when Arteta took over at the club. And honestly, I don't think he would be satisfied if he spends the best years of his career as a second or third option at Arsenal. His contract with the club runs until 2027, and it's hard for me to believe that he would be willing to stay here and play second fiddle for the next 3 or 4 years. Second thing, and this is why I think he could potentially leave already this January, is that, as we all know, Arsenal is searching for a new striker to bring this winter. I don't know if that will be Ivan Toney, Dominic Solanke, Benjamin Šeško, or someone else. I'm just throwing names now. But let's say, for the sake of it, that Arsenal manages to sign Ivan Toney this January. And, well, there's a big possibility that it will happen. And then Nketiah effectively becomes our third choice striker. Nketiah always said, when he was asked by the media about his role in the team, that he loves the competition, wants to fight for his place, blah blah blah. But look, let's be real here. If you're the club's third choice striker after being here for the past 6 years, then it's probably a time to move. I love Nketiah. And if you ask me, even if we sign another striker this January, I would keep him until at least the end of this season because depth is crucial for us in every position. Because we are fighting for the Champions League, Premier League title, and we also have a FA Cup starting soon. So we absolutely need to have depth in every single position. And finally, the third reason why I think he could potentially leave the club is, well, financial fair play. Look, I don't intend to go into the depths of financial fair play and how it all works today, but in short, Arsenal are currently in a good position regarding financial fair play. Keyword here is currently. If, let's say, we buy Ivan Toney or Victor Osimhen, let's say for example for £100 million this summer, then the situation could change drastically. Because let's not forget, we already spent more than £200 million in the summer when we bought Jurrien Timber, Declan Rice and Kai Havertz. Plus, Arsenal needs to pay the full £27 million for David Raya, if I'm not mistaken, in January to make that deal go permanent. And they will pay that amount because Arteta decided, the club decided that they want to sign David Raya on a permanent deal. So you are not going to sell any of your heavy hitters, obviously. Your Sakas, Martinelli, Sodegaards, Whites, you know. So who would you sell? Who should you sell? Well, Eddie Nketiah is the perfect player. Premier League proven, his best years are still ahead of him, great attitude, professional. And interestingly, there have already been some rumors circling around social media that if we manage to bring in another striker this January, Arsenal's plan is to sell Eddie Nketiah to balance the books. And that is basically why I think Nketiah could potentially leave Arsenal this January. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays here. I would love for that to happen, at least till the end of the season. But I also wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if we just wake up one morning and we see Ornstein Bomba that, I don't know, Crystal Palace or West Ham, for example, are interested in signing Eddie Nketiah. And finally, fourth and final name on my list is Emile Smith-Rowe. But before you all attack me, hear me out. About a month ago, I made a video called What Actually Happened to Emile Smith-Rowe. So if you're interested, feel free to check it out. I'll leave the link in the comments. Anyway, I absolutely love Emile Smith-Rowe. He's the guy whose career I've been closely following since 2018, 2019, since his Red Bull Leipzig and Huddersfield days. And look, if you ask me, Emile Smith-Rowe is the biggest talent that came out of Highland Academy, after Jack Wilshere, of course. In my opinion, before all the injuries, it was Emile Smith-Rowe at the top, talent-wise, right? And then Saka, Nelson, Nketiah, etc. Unbelievable talent, fantastic player all around. And just when I thought, you know what, 2023-24 could be his season, well, we then bought Kai Havertz, and I instantly knew that it's game over for him. And on top of that, he also earned a fresh injury 2 months ago, and oh man, so much bad luck. It's like Jack Wilshere all over again. Look, like I said, go watch my full Emile Smith-Rowe video, because I explained it all there and I fully went into detail. But in short, this is what I think Arsenal should do with Emile Smith-Rowe. He's now fully fit again, right? So he won't be getting many chances in this Arsenal squad, probably. I mean, let's be realistic. He's now 23 years old and he has a contract with Arsenal until 2026. Look, I think he should go out on loan. A 6-month loan to a club where he will be the first option and he would play every single game. To get back into game shape and to see, can his body still cope after all those injuries? I wouldn't sell him. And I don't think Arsenal would want to sell him right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to send him on another loan this January. And if he turns out to be good and most importantly stays fit, for the rest of the season, give him a fresh chance with Arsenal next season. If he gets injured again and nothing changes for the better, then it's probably time to sell him in the summer. And that's what I think will happen. That's probably the club's plan for Emile Smith-Rowe. This is probably his last chance. His last chance to prove Mikel Arteta and most importantly to himself that he is still that same player he was before all those injuries happened. And from the bottom of my heart, I hope there is still enough fire in him to prove us that there is still a bright future for him in an Arsenal kit. And that's basically it. That's the whole list. Aaron Ramsdale, Cedric Soares, Eddie Nketiah, and Emile Smith-Rowe. Now here are some honourable mentions. To be honest, I thought about putting Reece Nelson to this list, but I just don't think that Arteta would let him go. It just doesn't make sense. Because if Bukayo Saka gets injured, God forbid, Reece Nelson is your only legit backup option on the bench. So unless we decide to buy another right winger this January, I don't think Nelson will leave. And I don't think we will buy a winger this January. Maybe in summer, who knows, but I doubt it will happen in January. So yeah, that's why I decided to not include Reece Nelson on this list. And Fabio Vieira, but I think Mikel Arteta prefers Fabio Vieira over Emile Smith-Rowe, and he simply trusts him more. And because both of those players are competing for that Martin Odegaard position spot, I think it makes more sense at the moment if Vieira stays and Smith-Rowe goes out on loan. I also thought about adding Jorginho, but his contract is also until the end of the season, and I can't imagine that Arteta would let him go in the middle of a season like this, when we are still fighting for the available trophies. I think Jorginho will stay with Arsenal till the end of this season and then he'll leave the club for free in the summer. Is that all? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, so Gunners, tell me, do you agree with me? Do you think there are maybe some other players in our squad who could potentially leave the club this January? Write down in the comments because I would love to hear you out. Anyway, thank you all for watching, thank you for joining in. Once again, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Peace.